So, namaste friends. So now we are back with our last lecture on the Indian president, that is on his clemency powers. So first we will start with the meaning of the word which is clemency, right? Clemency generally means to grant a pardon, or clemency means the power of a particular person to interpret laws and to consider if the provided punishment is in excess, or if there is an error of judgment, or if there is any mistake by the judiciary in provision of a particular punishment to a person. So this function is vested in the President of India by our constitution. So by the virtue of that function, let us discuss further about the clemency powers of the President of India, right? So what are the features of the clemency power of the President of India? First of all, and the most important feature is the advice of the Union Cabinet, right? In Maruram versus the Union of India, this was a case which was heard in the Supreme Court. In this case, the Supreme Court has given an absolute judgment that for using the clemency powers of the President, it is again not in his or her discretion. It is to be considered, or it is to be exercised on the advice of the Union Cabinet, and to be specific, on the advice of the Ministry of Home Affairs, right? Let me give you an example. All of you know Ajmal Kasab, right? He was a terrorist, he killed a lot of people, and all the courts, including the local sessions court, the Mumbai High Court, as well as the Supreme Court, all of them withheld or upheld his capital punishment. That was the punishment of death, or hang till death, right? Then Ajmal Kasab's lawyer appealed to the President of India for using his clemency power so that the President could decrease his punishment from capital punishment to imprisonment to life, right? We will discuss what type of clemency powers does the President have, but for now, please understand this example, right? So, when Ajmal Kasab appealed to the President about reducing his punishment, it was the Ministry of Home Affairs which advised the President of India, right, to not provide any amount of clemency to Ajmal Kasab, because he was a declared terrorist and he had tried to wage war on our country, right? So it is compulsory that the President has to act on the advice of the Union Cabinet, even to exercise his clemency powers. Again, I will repeat that President is just a rubber stamp or just a nominal head of state, right? This point also proves that the real power is wielded by the Union Cabinet or the Government of India under the Prime Minister, right? Second feature is that after the President of India denied the application of Ajmal Kasab, the President is not bound to provide any reasons or any clarifications that why did he upheld the capital punishment, or why did he deny the petition of a particular client or a particular person, right? He denied the petition of Ajmal Amir Kasab. That means that it is denied, right? He does not have any other option to go to any other court of law, etc., right? So this is a very clear point. The President is not bound to give any reasons. Then why is this clemency powers used, right? These 2 points make it very clear that if the judiciary has been unduly harsh, right? If the judiciary, like for example, if someone has committed a theft, right? If somebody has stolen something from someone and the judiciary gives him the punishment of death, right? Or the punishment of life imprisonment. So would it be justified? No. It would be very harsh for the crime committed, or a very big punishment for the amount of penalty or the amount of crime which is committed by the person. So in such cases, the President generally uses his clemency powers to correct any judicial mistake, right? Second point also says the same, right? It shouldn't be arbitrary, irrational, malified or discriminatory, right? All these words mean the same thing, that the judgment passed by any court should be according to law, right? If it is countervening the law, then the President will use these clemency powers to justify, or to reduce, or to increase sometimes, or to increase the powers, right? increase the punishment. Right? Now let me tell you that in practical purposes, many a times where the clemency powers is used, this generally is used for political purposes, right? For example, a member of parliament or someone with a very strong political background is convicted for a particular offense by the High Court or the Supreme Court, then the particular political power, when it comes to power or when it forms the government, then it is generally seen that the president provides clemency or pardon by the directions of the particular government to the person related to them, right? So this is one of the disadvantage of this power, right? Let's move forward. As I discussed, it corrects the errors of the judiciary, also it ensures justice, right? So these were the points which were required or which shows the features of the clemency powers of the president. Now let us discuss under which article it is mentioned and what are the types of the clemency powers of the President of India. This article is important and you should remember, because many a times this thing is in the news, and in the mains if you provide with particular article, then the answer would look very beautiful. So it is mentioned in Article 72 of the Indian Constitution. Remember, Article 7 to 72. And the various types of clemency powers which the President has are here. First of all is pardon, right? Everyone knows that pardon in simple English means to forgive, right? So pardon means complete absolution, right? Let me give you an example. Like if a person goes to the President that the Supreme Court has upheld his life imprisonment and the President grants him pardon, then he has to be set free. Mark my words, he has to be set free by the court or by the government. So this is the pardoning power of the President. Absolutely the person is dissolved of all the charges on him, right? So this is the pardoning power of the President. Second power is the commutation, right? Commutation. So what does commutation means? We will understand again with an example. Like if a person A is convicted for 14 years in prison by the Supreme Court, then if the President grants him commutation, right? If the President grants him commutation, then this 14 years could be reduced to 10 years, right? So this is the simple meaning of commutation, reducing the duration of the punishment, right? Reducing the duration of the punishment, right? Or let me give you another example. If somebody has been given a death penalty, reducing it to life imprisonment, that also is pertaining to commutation, right? It reduces the character of punishment. Mark my words, character of punishment, not the exact duration of punishment, right? So this was the commutation power of the President of India. Then the third power is reprieve, right? Reprieve means temporary suspension. Again, I will give you an example. Like, I have appealed, I am convicted of capital punishment or I am convicted of a death penalty, and I have appealed to the President of India for his clemency powers, right? Now, for the duration between execution of my death penalty or when I am going about to given the death penalty and the President deciding on whether what type of pardoning or what type of thing he should provide to me, in this gap a lot of time goes, right? Generally a lot of time goes, and for covering this time lag, generally the President issues a reprieving order. So this reprieving order temporarily puts a stay on the death penalty, right? So did you guys understand with the example? I am given a death penalty. I appeal to the President of India that please forgive me or please reduce my sentence to life imprisonment, and the President has to decide whether he has to accept my penalty or whether he has to reject my petition, right? So it would take a lot of time. The cabinet would decide, the Home Ministry will look into my judgments, look into my charges, look into the weight of my crime, and then they will advise the President to do X, Y or Z, right? So during this duration, I am not executed or my penalty is not applied to me. So for that, the President initially issues a reprieving order providing a temporary stay to my execution or to my execution of my punishment, right? So this was the basic definition of his power of reprieve. Further, his power of respite, right? lesser punishment for special grounds. Now again let's take an example. Like a woman has committed a heinous crime or a very grave crime, but the woman is pregnant, right? If the woman is pregnant and she has been provided with a death penalty, then this because of her pregnancy, like pregnancy forms a special reason, because of her pregnancy the death penalty could be reduced or could be respited to a life imprisonment, right? So respite power is basically used when a particular prisoner or a particular criminal has a special feature for which his or her punishment could be reduced. You guys would have understood it very nicely based on this example, right? So this was the respiting power of the president, and last is the remission, right? Remission is very much connected to commutation. We learnt in commutation that commutation means decrement of character of punishment, right? From death penalty to life imprisonment. Like for example, life imprisonment, solitary confinement means you are put in a jail alone. From that the punishment could be commuted to life imprisonment, simple imprisonment, right? So you are not put alone in the jail. But remission is totally opposite. In remission the character is not reduced, right? Character is not reduced, but the duration of the punishment is reduced. Let me give again an example, right? Like if a person A is convicted of life imprisonment, right? He is convicted of life imprisonment, and in India life imprisonment generally means 14 years in prison, right? It does not mean your entire life is to be spent in prison. On practical purposes, life imprisonment in India means 14 years in prison, right? So if he has been given 14 years or life imprisonment in prison, then if the president provides him a remission, then his imprisonment could be reduced to 8 years, right? Or for example 10 years or 7 years, right? In this, if he has been provided a solitary confinement, it would remain solitary, right? It would not be changed to simple confinement, but the duration, only the duration of the punishment would be reduced. So, simple to remember, commutation means character, CC, commutation character, and remission duration, R and D. So in prelims exam, the two confusing things would only be remission and commutation, and people tend to get confused between these two options. Simple trick, C and C, commutation, character, remission means duration, right? So these were the types of the clemency powers of the President of India. Now, certain other features regarding the clemency powers of the President are, we will learn it further in the state machinery or the state government, state executive, that even the governors of the state have certain amount of clemency powers under Article 161 of the Indian Constitution, right? But what are the differences between the governor's clemency powers and the president's clemency powers? You guys just have to understand 2 points of differences between them, right? Otherwise, both the powers are really same. It is just that the president's powers are there for the entire country or criminal offences that are occurring in the entire country, whereas the governor's powers are limited to a particular state. The 2 points of difference which are very striking and which are exam questions, which could be exam questions, are, first is death penalty, right? If a person is convicted of death penalty, then the pardoning or the clemency powers will only be with the President of India, right? The governor cannot decide whether to commute, to respite, etc. the death penalty, right? It is solely in the hands of President of India. And the second point is court martial. All of you would be knowing the basic definition of court martial. Court martial generally means a court of military, right? The people who are involved in the tri-services of our country, that is the army, the navy and the air force, they are not subject to the civil judiciary of the country, be it the local level courts or in some cases the high courts, but they have the different courts which are known as court martials, and these court martials or these military tribunals decide on all the offenses that are convicted by the military. And in these convictions, all the powers rest with the President of India. All the clemency powers regarding the court martial rest with the President of India. Again guys, this is very logical. Court martial or the armed forces are a part of the union government. It is present under the union list, right? So it would be very logical and very understandable that these powers would only rest with the union executive head or the President of India, right? So these point of differences are very important and these are to be understood. Let us move forward. So these were the certain Supreme Court cases. Maruram versus Union of India, as I told you, Dhananjay Chatterjee, Elias versus the state of Bengal, right? All these cases try to say only one thing, that the clemency powers are to be exercised on advice of cabinet, right? I have repeatedly told you that it should be advised, it should be carried out on the advice of the cabinet. Otherwise, the president does not have any form of discretion in using his clemency powers. So this was the clemency powers of the President of India, and hope you guys enjoyed this session. So thank you, and we'll be back with further lectures. Thank you so much.